Hello, I'm Scott. I am your online statistics instructor. And this video is going to kind of introduce you to the course, how things are run, go through the syllabus, introduce you to MyOpenMath. Yes, it's going to be long. Yes, there's a lot of information coming at you. If you want to watch this at 1.5 speed or something, I totally understand that, but please watch the entirety of the video and any other videos that are posted on our course. It will really, really help you be successful overall. I'm going to do this in one take, hopefully, so bear with me if there's mistakes. We're going to start with Canvas. I'm going to look at what it should look like to you as a student. There's very little on Canvas. Most of our course is actually going to take place on this other website called MyOpenMath. If you've taken courses at Missoula College before, maybe University of Montana, you might have experienced MyOpenMath. Benefit of MyOpenMath is your textbook is free, your online homework system is all free. So there's no additional expense to you as a student in this course. In addition, like technology, having a calculator is ideally you have one for doing some basic statistics, but we will go over things like using Excel. We won't go over Excel. We use CODAP, but if you prefer to use Excel, that will be an option for you, or some other statistical analysis program. Many links will be posted on the MyOpenMath website, and you are always allowed to use those resources, including during your exams. Any piece of technology that you're using on the regular basis to answer questions, you will be allowed to use during the exams as well. So you can note that there is not much information on our Canvas. Oh, there is a picture. Maybe you'll be able to see it, but of me, this is also me. Here's this welcome video that obviously I need to edit. This is like video inception right here. But mostly the Canvas is going to point you to the MyOpenMath class, which is where most of the information is going to be held. I do have my office hours posted here. They might be updated by the time you watch this video. These are all of my hours that I'm going to be holding in the Missoula College Learning Center, which is in the basement of Missoula College. But of course, if you're a distant student or just somebody that is maybe on the mountain campus, making it to Missoula College isn't convenient for you, we can always schedule to meet virtually. Just send me what times work for you, and we can figure something out. I say here, email me 24 to 48 hours. If it's the weekend, make sure you include Monday because I am generally not going to be available over the weekend. But just if you let me know your availability, I'll find time that works for me as well. Within the announcements, there's going to be a welcome email that we'll post here, and every week I will send out weekly updates to you. They will all be posted here. They will also get posted to MyOpenMath. Your syllabus, there is some information here. I'm going to go through the file. Most of this information that is here, all of this information is included in the file. So I'm going to just click on the file and we will go through that. And then your grade book, I do not believe we are going to be using the Canvas gradebook because it's a little redundant. Everything should be in MyOpenMath. I will show you that when we get to that portion of this video. So here is the syllabus. So between your syllabus and the welcome email and this welcome video, as well as some other videos that you'll see, it should really help introduce you to the class and how things are going to run. So Stat 216. This class is a 400, sorry, not 400 level. It is a 4-credit class. It is a 200 level class. And the expectations of your work and your engagement with the material is going to reflect that. So just because you are in an online class, don't think that you'll be able to get away with, cramming everything in at the last minute. That is really not a good strategy in this course. I will also warn you, I can see your activity log in the system. So sometimes students will wait until 2 hours before an entire unit is due. And that's when they'll start getting work done. And then I get an extension request the next day. Students say, oh, I didn't have enough time, but I can see that you didn't give yourself enough time. I'm generally pretty flexible with granting extensions. But if you are regularly not preparing yourself by waiting until the last minute, I'm probably going to stop giving you those exceptions. These due dates are to help keep you moving through the content because the content uh, kind of builds. It gets a little bit more complicated. So don't think that just because the first couple lessons might come easy to you, that the whole class is going to be easy. In general, the first unit tends to be the most familiar to students. And so don't get lulled into a false sense of security because the course does get more and more difficult as it goes along and more conceptual. Very, very cumulative class, especially once you hit lesson 4. So there's a description here. The big thing, the class, there's going to be 3 different units. Unit 1 is descriptive statistics. We have data, we want to be able to describe it by calculating some values that might describe it, or creating graphs that will help us visualize it. So there's a couple of lessons within that unit. Lesson 2 is probability. We learn all of these ideas in probability so that we can ultimately get to unit 3, which is inferential statistics, which is now that we have an understanding of probabilistic models, how do we use those models to make predictions and make decisions? In my opinion, inferential statistics is really the reason we take statistics. And we just scratched the surface of inferential statistics. There are so many more tests that you can do, hypothesis tests, confidence intervals. We just do a very, very basic introduction. But that way, if you need to continue statistics in your other coursework or in your day-to-day, you at least have an understanding of what a hypothesis test is. What is the significance level? How are we making predictions with confidence intervals? So here's some things that we hope that you'll be able to do. The big one is why are we doing statistics? It's everywhere, and I would really like you to be able to identify when things are good or bad statistics, and in theory, set up your own sort of investigation, right? If you needed to do some sort of study, you would have the tools to at least get started on collecting data and analyzing it. Learning outcomes, please read through those. So the technology, we're going to mostly use CODAP. I chose CODAP because it is pretty user-friendly. Excel is much more powerful. If you like Excel, great. I have just, in the past, had a difficult time with students that are completely unfamiliar with Excel. It can be overwhelming or intimidating to many students. So I have videos using this free online software, CODAP. But of course, if you want to use Excel, that's great. If you want to use some other statistical analysis program, I am also fine with that. Please just let me know what you're using. Graphing calculators is another option that many of you will use. And you can get calculators for free, TI-36. These are not graphing calculators, so they will be a little limited on some of the capabilities. But you will want to have some sort of calculator. There will be other pieces of software, like I said, that'll be linked. And you can always use those in this course. Our textbook is OER, meaning Open Educational Resource. It is free. There are links on My Open Math to all of the lessons. I will show you that when we get there. How the course is run. So online classes, you are very much teaching yourself. The way that I recommend you teach yourself is first skim through the section in the textbook. You don't need to like read through everything. I just think it's good to kind of have an idea of the content that's going to be covered and seeing the sample problems. That way, when you kind of watch the videos where someone's going through more examples, you can reference back to the textbook as you need, now with a little bit better understanding of what the textbook is saying. So first, I would say skim the textbook. Second, watch the videos. Start working on your homework after that. Sometimes these homework problems have additional help videos linked or hints. Please attempt the question before you use those because we want you to learn, not just follow a video that tells you how to do the answer the question. And if you are stuck, still can't answer the questions, still not getting the green check mark, please reach out to me. There are several ways. You can send me an email. There's buttons in my Open Math that say message instructor, and it will link that exact problem that you're working on and send me a message, and I can then respond to it. Please note, if you do ever ask for help, please, please, please send me the work that you've done so far. If you just message me and say, I can't figure this one out, I am guaranteed going to respond by saying, what work have you done so far? Because you are probably closer than you think. Very often, students will make one small mistake or be really, really close in their understanding, and it's not worth my time to start from the beginning and explain an entire concept when maybe you just accidentally said 2 plus 3 is 6, multiplied 2 times 3 instead of added. Right? So if you send me your work, I can look at your mistakes and close the gap. Saves us both a lot of time. So your grading, 35% is going to be the turn-in homework. This is what I think is ultimately the most important piece. This is where you're showing me your work, and I am going to give you the feedback so that you can learn how to better communicate in the world of mathematics. This, to me, is the most important part of math, not just getting an answer, but understanding how to show where your answer came from and being able to explain your answer. The unit exams, you have 3 of them. They're all going to be worth 11.67%, right? 35% overall. The first 2 exams are going to be online, have more information. And the third one is a take-home exam. It's almost more like a project where you'll be given data and you need to actually analyze it. There's videos on that once we get there. And then 30% of your grade is the online homework. The 2 lowest scores dropped. I'll talk about those more in just a second. There are many, many small assignments. So within a single lesson, there's probably 3 to 6 online assignments, 1 turn-in assignment, and then the unit exams are broken into a few different lessons at a time. I do not accept late turn-in homework. Again, if you communicate with me, we can probably give you an extension. But if you email me Wednesday and an assignment was due on Sunday and you say, hey, I didn't do it, probably not going to get that open back up. After assignments are graded, please go through the feedback. Again, this is where I think most of the learning takes place, is you looking at my comments on the work that you have submitted. And you can contest work. If I'm human, I sometimes make mistakes. Or if you have a question about why you lost points, please let me know. You have a week. I don't want students waiting till the very end of the term and bombarding me with a hunt for missing points. But if you, within a week, want to contest some grading, I'll be more than happy to go over any assignment, any sort of grading questions you might have. Typical grading scale with the note that a C minus, the cutoff is down to a 65. Just giving you a little bit of breathing room in order to still get credit for the course. It is a difficult course. I am very aware of that. Not everyone understands, like, just gets statistics. It can be a challenge, but otherwise, the pluses and minuses are kind of at my discretion. I'll never round down. Like if you have a 90.0, you get an A. If you have 89.7, I might give you an A minus. Maybe I'll give you a B plus. It's going to depend on your level of engagement, your score on the turn-in assignments. Perhaps if you have an upward trend, you started a little slow and got better, I can see those things and I will reward you appropriately. So the different types of assignments, turn-in homework. These are at the end of every lesson. They're going to be a PDF or Word file. What I want you to do is either print off and write on that assignment or download it and write on some sort of a tablet. In very specific instances, I will let some students use their own paper. However, if you do that, I require that you write the entirety of the question in the instructions, or I will take more points off. When I've created these assignments, there should be an appropriate amount of space. There's instructions that I might specifically reference with my feedback. So if you are using your own paper, it becomes more difficult for me to grade. So I really discourage students from doing that. But if you don't have any sort of printer, communicate that with me, and we will make sure that you understand what the expectations are if you use your own paper. These assignments, again, are what I think the most important because it's you demonstrating your understanding how you get to a solution, right? Just getting an answer, if it's correct, great, but if you can't explain it, if you can't justify it, it's kind of pointless, right? I'm not gonna believe necessarily that you knew what you were doing, right? But if you show me your work and you still have a mistake, I'll give you credit for the information that you did know. So I love to give partial credit. So I really want you to work on showing a lot of steps. This is something that we will be getting used to together. Um, but as you go through the feedback, you'll start to understand kind of what my expectations are. There's a video demonstrating best practices. Oh, when you're done, you will upload a file of your work. If you have a scanner, great. If you just downloaded a PDF onto a tablet or whatever, just upload that file. The easiest way to otherwise make sure that you can upload pictures is to just take pictures of your work, put those pictures onto a Word document, preferably save it as a PDF. It saves me a lot of time if you save it as a PDF as opposed to a Word file. And it needs to be one individual file. Sometimes students try to email me 4 different images, but note, when I'm grading these assignments, I have to download your work, grade it, and then upload it again. If there are 4 different files, I have to download 4 different files, grade each of them individually, and upload them again. I'm not going to do that. So if you email me 4 files, great, I can see that you did the work. I won't mark you late, but I'm not going to grade it until you consolidate it into one file. And I'll let you know that. And again, you'll have a week. After the week, it's going to be a 0. Even if you've completed the assignment, if you did not turn it in the appropriate format, you will get 0 credit. Read the rest of this paragraph because again, I'm high level overview of things right now. Online homework, you essentially have unlimited tries. I think you have 3 or 4 attempts per question. And then if you're still wrong, you can hit get a similar version. What it's going to do, shuffle up the numbers, same context, so you can try the problem again. You can do that up to like 99 times, meaning you have 500 attempts. Please don't go through 500 attempts. If you make it through an entire version and you have to click get a new version, please email me and we will help fill in the gaps where they need, where you need. One thing to note, sometimes the program can be picky with rounding. So if you think that you are correct and there's a rounding discrepancy, just message me. There's an easy button where I can just hit full credit. But sometimes if this question said round to 3 decimal places and you rounded to 2, you'll be marked wrong. Follow the instructions. But the online homework, you don't need to submit work. This is just skills practice. That's everything I have on the online homework. Finally, your unit exams. There's going to be 2 exams that are going to be online. You will have 3 hours during the week that they're due. Before you can open the exam, you have to message me and give me the honor statement, basically a statement that I have a file. The statement says that you're not going to cheat, you won't use any resources that aren't allowed. You understand that you have to upload your work in order to get credit on those questions. So again, the work is the most important piece. So when you submit answers, if you're wrong, the work can give you partial credit back. And if you're correct, I still want to see the work, right? Anything that you've calculated. If you don't have work, you're not going to receive the full 5 or 10 points that have been allotted specifically for your work on the exam. I say you have to have your work uploaded within 10 minutes of the exam closing. Just note that's not exact. If you take 20 minutes, that's fine. I basically don't want you to email me 2 days later and say, hey, here's my work now. Your work should be submitted essentially the same time that you submit your exam. Also, make sure that work with the exam is labeled and legible. I've talked about taking pictures and that being a way to upload all of your work. Finally, your third exam is a take-home exam. And again, you'll have the whole week. It'll be due on Friday of finals week. So there is no honor statement. You have as much time as you need, but you need to make sure that you are being thorough with that assignment. Please check your campus email daily, I say, at least 3 times a week, but I recommend daily. If I ever need to communicate with you, I'm going to do so through email or through the announcements on Canvas. And if you miss that announcement, that's kind of on you, right? The information is being provided, and that's the only way I really have to communicate with you. So I highly recommend staying engaged, reading those communications. Read the sections, watch the videos before watching, before attempting your homework. And again, the sooner you start, the more likely it is that you can get help. If you email me Sunday night, you're probably not going to have enough time to respond to you. If you email me Tuesday and assignments aren't due until Sunday, guaranteed I'm going to be able to help you out. No time limit on any of your assignments. Just make sure they're turned in by the appropriate due date. Contact me. I'm saying spend at least 8 to 10 hours per week. That sometimes might be a little less for some students, sometimes a little bit more. And in general, I don't recommend planning on 8 hours in one day. I think it's better to give yourself time that if you're getting frustrated, it's better to take a step back, take a break, come back to it later, maybe seeking help first. Dates for the add drop policy, incompletes, misconduct, important dates, doesn't really affect us in the online class. ODE, please email me if you have an accommodation. I can, in the program, set it so that you have additional time on your exams. And any other accommodation, I want to make sure that we are meeting you where you're at. There will be some tutoring on the Mountain Campus and Missoula College. I will update you with that information when it is available. I really like working with students. That is the most rewarding thing. And in an online class, it's really easy to feel disconnected from me. So please, please don't hesitate to reach out. I want to be able to help you. I would rather work with you before you turn in your homework than realize that you didn't understand the material when I'm grading your homework. That's more challenging for me, more frustrating, and it hurts your overall grade. There's a bunch of resources available to you as a student. A lot of information down here on that. And then finally, here is information on how to access my Open Math. The big thing is the course ID is posted here. Your enrollment key is Math is Cool. These instructions will help you. And then finally, sorry, that's a second finally. But is the schedule for the course, right? This online class is asynchronous, but I have check-ins along the way because this class is not one where you can just sit down and do it all in 2 weeks at the end of the time. And it also makes my grading load way too heavy. So I spread it out, which is for your benefit as well as mine. So I have the weeks here, right? It's always going to be Monday through Sunday. And here is what you should be covering, and then anything that's due. Almost all of your assignments are going to be due on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. If you're a few minutes late, please just email me your assignment. I'll take off 10% for it being late, but I would rather you still submit the assignment, get the feedback, than not get any credit at all, right? So due dates here. One exception is with your first couple exams, you have to submit the honor statement by Friday. That is because I might not be available over the weekend. So if I need to have that honor statement turned in by Friday night so that the exam will be open by the time you take it, it'll always be due Sunday at the latest. You can always take it earlier. You can submit your honor statement on Monday and then wait until Sunday to take the exam. I don't care. I just want you to have signed your honor statement saying that you're not going to cheat before you take the exam. So I won't open the exam for you until you've submitted your honor statement. So those are due on Friday. Everything else is due on Sunday, and I will do my best to get my grading done as soon as possible by Monday or Tuesday of each week, ideally, so that you have that feedback before you begin working on the turn-in assignments for the next lesson. There are a couple places where I have highlighted some important notes. One, again, there's a lot of time at the beginning of the course, and this is due to lots of movement and lots of students familiarizing themselves with the system. In general, I don't think you need 2 weeks for lesson 1. I don't think you need 2 weeks for lesson 2, but I don't want students to come into the class late or start getting overwhelmed. So you have plenty of time early in the course, but again, the content gets more difficult. Lesson 7, in my mind, is the most challenging lesson in the entire course, and you technically only have 1 week to complete it. But that is because I was trying to schedule it out so that you take your exam before the Thanksgiving break, as opposed to having to take your exam during your Thanksgiving break. There's a little bit of a shift once we get to inferential statistics, and so I wanted that break to happen right before Thanksgiving, which meant that lesson 7 only technically has a week, but you'll notice you have 2 weeks for lesson 6. So here where this week lesson 6 is actually due, my advice, start working on lesson 6 pretty early and give yourself as much time as possible to work on lesson 7. The central limit theorem is the backbone of everything in Unit 3. All of inferential statistics is based on lesson 7, which is why it's highlighted here. It is the most challenging lesson, and I want to make sure that you know that going into the course. Be prepared for some potential struggle in this section and be ready to give yourself extra time for that lesson. The other highlighted date here, December 13th, is when your exam 3 is due. It is not Sunday because grades are due Monday or Tuesday right after finals week, and I need time to grade this exam. It's fairly extensive. You have 2 different pieces to it, 2 different data sets where you're creating a confidence interval and one running a hypothesis test. And it takes me a while to grade, so I really want to make sure that you know this is the one assignment that is due on a Friday instead of a Sunday, which is fairly normal. So, actually, let's go back to that syllabus. Down here at the bottom, information on how to go to My Open Math. There's a video here on how to enroll. I believe in the video they call it WAMAP. I have My Open Math right here. What you will do is it will look different to you. I'm logged in. You'll say, I need to enroll in a course. You'll enter the course ID. You'll enter your enrollment key, which is math is cool, all lowercase. And that will get you into the class. This is what it looks like. I'm going to click on the student view, and I'm going to show you the most important information right now that you will need for My Open. So 1, weekly announcements. Every week I should send you an update saying, hey, here's kind of what content we are covering. Here's my recommendation for where you should be by the end of this week. Those are going to be very important and very helpful in guiding you through the course. Please keep up to date on those weekly announcements. Messages, you can message me. You could theoretically message other students. So you can see those there. Forums are now kind of like an open communication if you wanted to communicate with your classmates. The calendar, this is a really good place for you to be looking. It has all of the due dates. So here is when your syllabus quiz and all of lesson 1 is due. Here's when all of lesson 2 is due, all of lesson 3, your exam 1 honor statement. And once you have submitted your honor statement, exam 3 will show up here. We'll show you as an instructor what my calendar looks like. There is exam 1 final due date. So you cannot access that exam until you've turned in that honor statement, which is why when you're a student, it does not show up. And lastly on that, the grade book, you can't see it right here. Let's see, instructor, no one should be in there, so I can click on the grade book. But so here is all of your assignments. So you have 3 exams, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. All of your online homework. Yes, there are a lot, many homework assignments. And then you'll have 9 turn-in assignments. I dropped the lowest 2 online homework and the lowest 1 turn-in homework score. And if you have questions, so it will look different for you as a student. Something to note is there will be a section or a column that when you look at your grade total, one of the columns will say past due, and one of the columns will say past due and available. Don't look at the past due and available, because that's going to count all of your uncompleted assignments against you. It'll say, oh, well, you've got a 0 here and here and here and here and here and here. So that grade's going to be really low. But if you look at the past due, that's going to count all the scores that have been fully recorded in the gradebook. So start here. Here's the welcome video that you are currently watching. Here's a little Alan Watts video that I like to show on the first day of class when I teach in person. You don't have to watch it, but I think it's really interesting and just helps with perspective. So highly encourage you to watch that. There's a video again on how to use MyOpenMath, a link to your textbook. If anyone wants to create a discussion or study group, I have a link here. And please introduce yourself in the virtual cafe. Just a couple ideas, but just get to know your classmates a little bit and introduce yourself to me. Your syllabus will be in here. Here is the welcome email that I will have been posted on Canvas and sent out to you all. Go to student. Here is that syllabus that we just went through. Here is your syllabus quiz. It is due by Sunday, September 8th. And oh, I will update that date because that is incorrect. My advice, open up the syllabus quiz, open up your syllabus, read through it. It has some things that I really want emphasized available. It should be free 10 easy points, but sometimes students don't do it. I highly recommend it. Then finally, please watch this video about uploading work and interpreting your solutions. It goes over kind of my expectations for your turn-in assignments, which again, I believe are the most important assignments that you complete. I changed the format of these online assignments and didn't want to re-record an entire 20 to 30 minute video. I don't know exactly how long it is, but a long video just to say, the format of the homework, turn-in homework has changed. So just note that when I'm referencing you have 3 attempts at the questions, you don't, because it's no longer online. It's all a file that you will download. I'll show you an example of that in a second. So some student success advice. There's a link to CodeApp. There's some other videos in here, link on the tutoring, which will be updated when that information is available. But I really want to show you what the class looks like itself. So we're going to go into lesson, let's actually go into lesson 4, Unit 2, lesson 4. So every single lesson is going to have an intro video that I have created. They're short, kind of going over what you're going to learn in this section and any specifics within that lesson. So for example, in lesson 4, there's a handout that I've created for my Math 115 students. That's a nice cheat sheet of some basic probability ideas, right? I talk about that in the intro video. And then here is your online homework. Your homework does have late passes, which gives you a 24-hour extension. Your turn-in homework does not have that, though. Late passes is really more applicable for my in-person classes, but I don't mind if you want to use it for online homework. Again, they do not work on your turn-in. So within your online homework, you've got the due dates. You don't have to upload work. You'll get the question one at a time. you will want to practice how do I enter things, right? Maybe if I want a fraction, make sure you enter things as a fraction. If you have a decimal, so I'm going to say 0, right? And I'm just going to say submit. And I was wrong. But look, I can still answer it again. I'm going to say 34. This is obviously incorrect. Say 13. After the third attempt, I can now see, oh, there was the solution. This is the fraction we were looking for. And you can see that I have now get a similar question. I can click that again. The numbers have changed, but I can attempt the problem. If I get it correct this time, let's say 1 minus, let's see, 3 answers. Oh, I'm going to put this in parentheses. I'm going to say 1/3. I'm going to do a little caret to go the exponent to the 7th power. Oh, it doesn't like that. Whatever that number is. I don't have a calculator handy. But that would have been my answer. And let's see if there's an easier one. Card is a 5, so that's gonna be 4/52. So you can see, look, you get a green check mark. I've got 0.3. If I get this one wrong, I submit. Something to note, you get 3 attempts per each section. So I highly recommend entering one part at a time rather than answering the whole question. Sometimes the first part of a question might be relevant to the next part. And if you're wrong here, you don't want to also now waste an attempt on that second question. So answer the first one, hit submit, then try the second one. Say, so I go 56, 3 again, and now I'm wrong. But if I get a similar question, notice I do not lose the points that I already earned. We can increase that score, but you won't ever lose the points that you've earned. If you have questions, you hit the message instructor. Note, here is the question itself. You can say, I couldn't figure it out. Here's what I did, right? Send message, I'll get it. I can respond directly to that question. Let's see if there's anything else. Here's an example of a question that has a video helping you. Right, so how do I attempt this question? If there's extra help, please, again, try and answer the question before you type your solution, or before you watch the video. But those are available if you need them. If you have any other questions about online homework, please let me know. So you'll have, this one has 3 different online assignments and then a turn-in assignment. All of your turn-in assignments have an instructional video. Please watch these videos. It is obvious when students do not, because I go explicitly over my expectations for that specific assignment. And if I say specifically, don't do this thing, and you do that thing, you're probably not going to get any credit for that question. And that happens all the time. These videos are not that long, 2 to 5 minutes tops, and will really help you knowing what to do for the assignment. So I'm going to click on this PDF so you can see what the online assignment might look like. It's going to be 2 to 4 pages long of work. Show all of your work. There's instructions here, right? Give your solutions as unreduced fractions and decimals. So if you do this on your own paper and you didn't write that, right? I would highlight this if you didn't follow those instructions. If you're using your own paper and you didn't write that, I can't reference those instructions, right? So there's space here given to you. So please either open the PDF or download it, and then again, upload after you've written your solutions. If you click on that assignment itself, so here's a Word document of the assignment. Sometimes students like to type up their solutions. If you do that, please note that I am going to be pretty strict about the way that you're formatting things. So just kind of show you an example. Let's edit this. Let's download it. So say I want to say that it's like 1 plus 2 over 5, and I say 1 plus 2 over 5. Oops, enable editing. And I say 1 plus 2 over 5. This is not the same as parentheses 1 plus 2 over 5. All right, I want to see this, which would be correct, versus that, which would not be correct. Another option, especially when you have, again, I don't recommend using Word, but some students do prefer it. If you go to Insert Equation, you now will have fractions, you have exponents, you'll have different symbols that you'll see used during the course. So you can format things nicely so that it looks the way that it is supposed to, right? Statistics, mathematics, it's a language, and we should be communicating in the language appropriately. I think it's easier to download a file or print a file and handwrite on it, but there are some students who are pretty good at this. Just note that I am going to be specific and will probably take points off if what you have written is not communicating what you have actually meant to say. I believe that's everything for the assignments. I think the last thing is your honor statement. So like this is now at the end of unit 2. Let's click on unit 1. Here's a video about your honor statement. The honor statement as a file looks like this. Initial next to it. If you want to just type your initials, that's fine. If you download it, handwrite them, that's fine. Just somehow indicating that you have read through these requirements, that it's you who took the test. You won't get help. You won't cheat. You won't post the exam. You will only talk about it with me. You'll only use your notes in your book. You can use online resources, but only the ones that were provided. This is, don't use ChatGPT to answer your questions on the exam, but you can use some of the resources that are posted, and that you need to upload your work in order to receive credit. Oh, I remember what I forgot to say on unit 4. So if you click on the turn in assignment and you go inside, there's only one portion. It is a file. You are going to click and then upload your file and hit submit. That's how you upload your homework. Sometimes students struggle with that, especially early on. Let me know. We'll figure out a way to make sure that you can upload your work to me. If you need to email it to me because your file is too large, for example, that is also an option. Just make sure that you do it before the due date. At the end of your exam, the very last question on the exam looks exactly like this, where you are going to now upload your work for that exam. Let's see, is there anything else? I think that's everything. Unit 2, one thing to note is you will be using CodeApp. So here's a link to CodeApp. I have videos on how to use CodeApp. Please watch those. Again, it's very obvious when students do not watch those videos and they submit something that is really, really out there. I want you to use CodeApp, but I don't want you to get like bogged down and overwhelmed with things. Just learning some of the basics is just fine with me in terms of CodeApp. I think that's everything that I have for you right now. I am certain that questions are going to arise. You are going to be confused. You are probably going to be frustrated. It's math. That is part of it. But I am here to help. You have plenty of resources available to you in terms of tutoring. Don't be a stranger. And I hope you have so much fun this term learning some statistics. I'll start seeing you again with all of the videos throughout the course. All right. Bye.